the press, did you not, when you were there?
Well, I had several jobs. One of my jobs was that of analyst. I also was an interrogator and indeed briefed the press when we, the CIA, wanted to circulate disinformation on a particular issue. Disinformation is not necessarily a lie. It may be a half-truth. And we would pick out a journalist. I would go do the briefing and hope that he would put the information in print. For instance, if we wanted to get across to the American public that the North Vietnamese were building up their force structure in South Vietnam, I would go to a journalist and advise him that in the past 6 months, X number of North Vietnamese forces had come down the Ho Chi Minh Trail system through southern Laos. Now, there is no way a journalist can check that information. So either he goes with the information or he doesn't, and ordinarily or usually the journalist would go with it because it looked like some kind of exclusive. And I would say our percentage planning that kind of data was 70 to 80%. The correspondents we targeted were those who had terrific influence, the most respected journalists in Saigon, like Robert Chaplin of the New Yorker magazine, Kais Beach of the Los Angeles Times from time to time, and also he worked for the Chicago Daily News. Bud Merrick of U.S. News and World Report, Malcolm Brown of the New York Times, even Maynard Parker of Newsweek magazine. We would go after these gentlemen. I would be directed to cultivate them, to spend time with them at the Caravel Hotel or the Continental Hotel, to socialize with them, and slowly but surely to try to gain their confidence by dolloping out valid information which was true. And then I would drop into a conversation the data that we wanted to get across, which might not be true. One piece of data, for instance, that we managed to plant in the New Yorker magazine had to do with a supposed North Vietnamese effort in 1973 to develop airfields along the border of South Vietnam. The reason we wanted to plant this information was that we were trying to persuade the U.S. Congress that Saigon should continue to get a great deal of aid, and that the North Vietnamese were the chief violators of the ceasefire accord. That was printed in the New Yorker magazine under the byline of Robert Chaplin, as indeed was a great deal of such information which we tried to circulate. If I planted a piece of information with a reporter, I would ordinarily then try to create an environment in which he could not check the information. I would go to the British ambassador and brief him on the disinformation I had just given the reporter. So when the reporter wanted to cross-check what I'd told him with, say, the British ambassador, New Zealand ambassador, or what have you, he would get false confirmation, the same message coming back at him. He'd say, aha, I've got proof that Frank Snepp told me the truth, when in fact what he'd gotten was simply an echo of what I'd given him in the first place via the British ambassador or other of our friendly diplomatic contacts. I am, as an ex-CIA agent, opposed to the disinformation activities in which I was involved. I admit that I was involved, and I think it served no useful purpose. Propagandizing the American public or Congress is not the CIA's job.
Heard what he said, right? I want to say shalom. I want to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim, Kakadash. I'd like to give double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone that rule well. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. Those in the gospel brought, lift up the standard of Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. It's the Akia Mahaloya coming back with another quick lesson. Lord's will to be edifying. Real quick, kind of going into this interview, as the title states, that you had these certain organizations that were set up to propagandize certain events or certain groups or certain particular stipends behind their tyranny, man. Okay, because like right now you got what they call the ADL, you got the NSA, which ADL is basically an organization set up to help out the U-ish people to keep them in power and to keep them predicated on world domination and to control narratives and spin narratives. Like, you got this whole thing with Kyrie. Okay, everybody's on his tail. Like we told you, he was not a man of the Lord. Okay, only thing he wanted to do was play ball. Okay, so when they asked him about IUIC camp, stated that they were passing out anti-S material, which they were just passing out to Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans or Israelites. And our affliction, how the hell is that anti-S? But you can see that the way that the narrative is going, that they're going to try to spin the narrative to make it seem like we're the ones that's promoting this misinformation. So that's justifying these particular government agencies like the FBI, the CIA, the NSA to come after the men of the Lord. Okay, and we told you, brothers, persecution is coming, man. Okay, defamation is coming. Okay, and you gotta have a strong spirit to deal with it, because people that your very people that you're around daily, these people, they're gonna have some smoke with you, man. You know, but you need not to worry about that, because the spirit of Yahweh Shai is gonna ultimately prevail. But regardless of that, man, you have to really count the cost of this thing, man, because they're gonna start passing certain laws or legislation or talking points or, you know, the code of law, which a lot of things are under not the code, Salakia, the color. Like, a lot of these things are under what they call the color of law, okay, which they're not really laws, but they have these particular penal codes or whatever you want to call it to solidify their standpoint on the things that they're going to do and try to persecute us. But the Spirit of the Lord is going to prevail over it, because we're going to remain faithful. Okay, but nonetheless, it says, warning, CIA and U.S. government will soon criminalize and defame Hebrew Israelites. And hey, shit, they did it yesterday on not yesterday, but they did it on the port, on the thing what Kyrie was on. He was speaking about it. Well, he wasn't speaking about it, but basically, oh, fuck it, man. Let me go find it, man. Ain't no point in me butchering it. Okay, let me go find it real quick. Because here we go, bingo.
Hey, Kyrie. There was a group of about 100 people outside wearing the shirt of a group called Israel United in Christ, a group labeled as a hate group by the Southern Poverty Law Center. They were outside in support of you and handing out anti-Semitic literature on the plaza to people walking by. And I was wondering if I can get your reaction to that.
I didn't see it. What happened? There was a group outside?
There was a group outside, 100, possibly more. They were wearing a shirt called Israel United in Christ. They're a group labeled as a hate group by the...
I think that's a conversation for another day. I'm just here to focus on the game.
Right, like what they got to do with me. You see what I'm saying? But you see, this is what they do. You see what I'm saying? This is what they do. They do shit like this because this is gonna justify them demonizing us, man. These Edomites are fucking wicked, man. How the hell? And that come from that march that Nate and them did. That's why we told them stupid niggas not to get in that spirit. Regardless, you know, it's prophecy. It has to happen. But still, on top of that, it's just like, how dumb can you people be, man? You know what I'm saying? That's why I feel like Nate is really juiced in with this place. But regardless of that, man, you know, what's done is done, you know, but that's not profitable. You know, you're marching up and down the damn street. Like, what are you going to do about it? It's stupid, in my opinion, in my humble opinion. You know, but regardless of that, man, Nate is just a demon. But see what they finna do to this guy.
Kyrie, but you've said this whole time that you didn't know what kind of what kind of voice you had, but if these are the people that are out here in your name, do you feel like that's a consequence of what you've done?
Again, I'm just here to focus on the game.
Just wondering what you've seen from Ben in terms of his progression from when you were last on the court.
You see what I'm saying? And that's the whole point. You see, they coming at even though he's not a man of the Lord, he just want to play ball. But see, it ain't like the fact that they ain't been out there. He ain't stir up this. The camps have been out there for years now. Going back to 2007, camps have been springing up daily. Okay, well, annually or however you want to put it. But the camps have been out there and they know this shit. They using him as a talking point so they can try to demonize us, man, because now they want to bug break this guy a second, third time. So I be telling you, Jakes, man, it's finna get real. And you guys, man, that's half-assing this thing. You know, you got your foot in and out of the door. Hey, man, you better really consider on what you're involved in and if you really gonna do this thing or if you gonna play games with it, man, because if you're gonna do it, you got to go all the way with it. Okay, you can't half-ass do it, because I'm gonna tell you like this: if you lukewarm, the Most High just gonna get rid of you, man. Okay, he's gonna get rid of a lot of you guys. A lot of you guys are just gonna stop teaching. A lot of you just gonna go back in the world. You know, when you see all hell breaking, a lot of you gonna try to tuck tail and act like you was never part of this thing. But hey, newsflash, they see everything and everybody. They know exactly who we are and where we are. They know where we live. They know our numbers. They know all this shit. Okay, like they've been having, like I got this thing in the mail yesterday from my phone carrier talking about a breach of information. Now there's a lawsuit out against the providers of the cell phone service, because allegedly they got this massive breach of information. And if you brothers notice, you be getting a lot of calls, a lot of crazy text messages, you know, people trying to sell you stuff. I've been getting that for the past year because it's a alleged data breach. But we know what that's going into, okay? But anyway, let's go into some precepts here. I don't want to rant too long. I got to actually make moves, so I got to be at this place. But this is the book of Luke 21, and I'm going to start at verses, let's start at verses, because to show you this is the end. But this is 21:7. It says, and they asked him, saying, Master, but when should these things be? And what sign would that be when these things should come to pass? And he said, take heed that ye be not deceived. Okay, for many should come in my name, saying, I am the anointed. Many who? Many false prophets. There's a lot of false prophets out there. And the biggest one that I'm thinking about right now is this guy, Ronald Dalton, with this whole controversial Hebrews to Negroes nonsense. Okay, and all that garbage, man, which is no truth in that, you know. There's no truth in that at all. And call Halal Yahawashi Yahawashi, man. Them wicked, the nigga downstairs is moving out. The water Yahawashi Yahawashi, man. You know, less Jakes is always the better. But anyway, it says, take heed that you be not deceived. It says, for many should come in my name, saying, I am the anointed. And the time draweth near, go ye not therefore after them. So take heed, man. Take heed of these false prophets, these false doctrines, you know, because, hey, they're going to be directly with these particular agencies to put the light on the true men of the Lord. And I believe that's what IUIC is gearing their way towards, man. And a lot of them guys in that congregation, they're not aware of their leadership's hidden motives or dark motives, man. You know, they don't have the interests of the congregation. And a lot of you guys are going to find that out. It says, but when you should hear wars or rumors of wars, be not terrified. For these things must first come to pass, but the end is not by and by. And he said it to them, nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against the kingdom. And great earthquakes should be in divers places, famines and pestilence, and fearful sights and great signs should there be from heaven. Chariots, storms, tsunamis, okay? Noises, weird noises that people have been hearing in certain states, man, in their cities, like a trumpet, almost like a wind chime almost, you know. And the fact that this weather, we just had like a blip. We was at a camp Saturday. We experienced 2 blizzards in the middle of a 3-hour and 45-minute camp, man. You know, got dark and light again. It was crazy. We was out there. But it says, then he said it to them, nation shall rise. Read that. But it says, before all these things, they shall lay their hand upon you and persecute you. And this is where we're getting ready to be at. Okay, because remember the disciples, they went through it. They got hemmed up. They got beat up for the name of Yahweh Shai, got stoned, got put in prison, you know, laid hands on them. It tells you that in the book of Acts, the 5th chapter. Acts 4 and 5, I believe. But it says they shall lay their hands on you, meaning they're going to grab you up and persecute you. Okay, this whole, oh, they hate the Jewish people. Oh, they saying anti. There ain't nothing we said was anti. Any judge or any supreme or appellate state or appellate court judge will look at the documents that Nate and them are passing on and say, how's this anti anything? They're just saying their atrocity. So if the gooks speak against what they went through, are they being anti-us? That's why we said that whole anti-Semitism, that's a made up term. And they made that up so they can play on it. They can spin a narrative with it. Because if they come out and say Shemitic, them demons know that we're Shemitic Hebrews. They can't use that against us. So they say anti-Semitic, because Semitic is a made up word, so they can do what they're doing now. Okay, you see, you got to watch how this devil operate. But it says, it persecute you and deliver you up to synagogues, man, and in prisons, and be brought before kings and rulers for my name's sake. And it should turn to you for a testimony. But settle it therefore in your hearts not to meditate before what you should answer, because don't think about it. It's gonna, what's in your spirit is gonna come out. You know well what you believe in. You're going to speak on what you believe in and the truth. That's a given if it's in you. Okay, if you wavering, then you're gonna be thinking of ways out. And basically that scripture go into, look, man, you ain't finding a way out of this. Okay, because if you gonna find a way out of this, you're gonna come with some left hand. Man, no, I don't believe in that Hebrew Israelite stuff, man. I was just doing what I was told. You know, a lot of guys is gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? When that fire get on their ass, they gonna, oh, nah, man, you know, I'm just following this guy right here. He the one that made us do it. Like the scripture say, ye haven't resisted into blood, right? And it says, and ye should be betrayed. It says, I will give you a mouth and wisdom, which all your adversaries should not be able to gainsay nor resist, right? Because they're going to be cut. They're going to know. Like, look, bro, you know we the people. We're just speaking on the atrocities we went through. How's that making us anti-anything when the fact that you literally put us in captivity, your people did? We got documents to prove that. Your own history declares that. So how am I anti-anything when I'm just speaking on the fact that my people are going through mass genocide? We was brought over here on cargo slave ships, all right? Okay? Things like that. Get over it. Nah, man. Y'all ain't get over that hoax hollow nonsense. Okay? And it says, and you should be betrayed by both parents because they're going to televise this thing. They may come to you, may send a squad car to your mama house, you know? And it says, and some of you, they should cause to be put to death. And you should be hated of all men for my name's sake. But it says, but there should not a hair of your head perish. But in your possessions possess ye your souls, bro. So they gonna try to roll on us before this whole thing is said and done. They may cut the internet, they may cut us off YouTube, however they're gonna do it. But in the next precept, it tells you when you should see Jerusalem compassed with armies. So they're gonna try to make a move sooner than later, you know. Me personally, I think it could be doing an hour martial law or before, but that's just my opinion. I speak as a man when I say that. But we really don't know, but we just going out of the order the scriptures laid it out in, common sense. But another precept, this is the book of Psalm 73. It says here, 73, and I'm going to start at verses 6. It says, therefore pride compasseth them about as a chain. Violence covered them as a garment, bro. Like when you, a garment is basically another way for body attire. You have on clothes, whether it's shoes, coat, hat, shirt, pants, undergarments. Those are considered garments. Okay. It says it compassed them like a garment, man. Okay. Meaning that's their nature to lie and to deceive people. Because everything they did is predicate on a lie and manipulation. They're going to manipulate and spin narratives, man. You know, and it says, and their eyes stand out with fatness, and they have more than a heart can wish. They are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression, right? Because we're telling them that we the ones that's oppressed. But what are they saying in retrospect? Oh, well, y'all anti-us. Them niggas Nate and them was down there passing out flyers and all that other good stuff. And yet dude is basically called it anti-S. But how is what they passing out as anti-S? Even though what they're doing is stupid. Okay, it's stupid as all hell. Marching and so forth, creating zones of insurrection. You get hit with an insurrection charge, man, doing that. You know, and they ain't just gonna look at them dudes. They gonna point the finger at all of us because in their mindset, Esau paints a broad picture with a narrow brush, man. You know, he just lump it all under one. You know, all the camps are gonna go under the banner because they know that we're basically cursing their ass out. So, hey, brothers, don't be surprised one day we at camp and, hey, squad car pull up and, hey, y'all got to come with us. Okay. What you going to do? You going to run? What you going to do what Yahweh Shai did? You know, the spirit would tell, time would tell. But it says they speak loftily. Loftily is very pridefully. When you think of a loft, you think of something that's high up. It says they set their mouth against the heavens and their tongue walketh through the earth. Okay, and that's talking about the Edomites, man. Okay, they set their mouth against the children of the Most High himself, his son. Their tongue walketh through the earth, right? Their influence through the military and ultimately this media, which goes into media, a medium, which means an intercessor. Okay, this is the medium they're channeling their left-hand sorcery through the TV narrative, and people pick up on it and they believe in it. Why? Because, hey, they've been deceived. You see? Another precept here. And I'm going to end it, and I got to get up out of here. I'm late. Well, not late, but I'm going to be late. This is the book of Matthew 10, and I'm going to start at verses 16. It says, behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. Marching is not it's not a wise thing, okay? Where in the scripture say we got to do that? You know, that's not wise. That's not how a serpent reacts. A serpent is very subtle. You may not see it coming. You know, like I like to use the analogy of a ghost almost. Like, you know, I like to use, I feel like anything you can get truth out of. One of my favorite TV characters, he's kind of like a villain and he's an antagonist. He's a protagonist and an antagonist. He started off as a villain, but he wanted to go good. And oftentimes villains be the good guy and they have the best storyline. But one of my favorite villains or good guys / bad guys was James St. Patrick, aka Ghost. That was always like my favorite character because you never knew when he was coming. You never knew what he was thinking. He was very, very subtle, but in deep down, he was a straight murder. He was like a straight cold-blooded assassin, man. You would never see him coming. You don't see him coming. You don't see him going. Okay, being wise, very wise. He was very calculated. You know what I'm saying? And he was just very subtle. You would never look at him and know that this guy was a fucking murderer. You would never know that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm using the analogy not because he was a cold-blooded killer or assassin and warrior type, but because he was very subtle, you would never know. Like, you just never know who's sitting before you, man. But them guys, man, they put it all on the leash. You know, like, you know, like, you know, never mind. I'm not even going to put that out there. That's not even important. But, you know, you just pick up certain things and you move certain ways, man. I remember when I... It was this funny story I wanted to tell, but it's not even important. It's not even important. What that would give that it will basically be pointless for me to say that, and then it is like, okay, well, who the fuck are you know type deal. So it's all good, but you got to be harmless. You got to be very subtle, okay? But it says, but beware of men, for they will deliver you up to the councils, and they will scourge you in their synagogues. It says, and they should be brought before governors and kings for my sake, for testimony against them and the Gentiles. And going back to that point, okay, they're going to deliver men up, okay, based on this stupid narrative here that they've been pushing, okay? And one thing, I'm going to go back to that story of James St. Patrick Ghost. They never was able to, they knew he was Ghost, but they couldn't prove it. They couldn't prove it until that spinoff came out and his wife gave him up. You see what I'm saying? His wife, even though he was dead, allegedly dead, who knows, but his wife, the one that brought him up, like, and we just read in the precept that you should be delivered up by your families, man, and they should seek to kill you. Okay, but they knew he was a ghost, but they could never prove he was a ghost. You know, until she was like, well, my husband, James St. Patrick, was ghost. Typical fucking woman, right? Typical family, right? To give you up. But it says, but beware of men, for they should deliver you up to councils, and they will scourge you in their synagogues. And ye should be brought before governors and kings for my sake, for a testimony against them and the Gentiles. But when they deliver you up, take no thought how or what ye should speak, for it should be given you in that same hour what ye should speak. For it is not ye that speak, but the Spirit of your Father which speaketh in you. And the brother should deliver up the brother to death, and the father the child, and the children shall rise up against their parents, and cause them to be put to death, and ye should be hated of all men for my name's sake, but he that endureth to the end, the same should be saved. Okay, so that's the point, and the reason why it goes into verse 21, brother should deliver up to brother, because this truth is creating, and the narrative they're spinning is going to create a division, because you got actual people in our families that really believe, man. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that, you know, you come in, you're Hebrew Israelite, and they're Christians, you're Muslim, whatever they may be, you know, there's a division there. Oh, you believe in that, man? You see what they saying on the news about those guys, man? And you want to bring that shit in my house? Get out of here, I'm going to call the cops. You know, because Jake don't think, man. Jake is just emotional, and Jake don't fucking think 3 steps ahead. They never thought the fact that the Lord went through the same thing, and these are so-called Bible-believing people. You see, they never thought that. Okay, they never believed, oh, damn, this did happen to the Lord. But instead, they go off the media of the narrative they spin on us, which is typical among our people because our people are stupid. All right, but that's the point I wanted to make, giving all praises and glory and honor is due to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. And with that, Shalom and the Baba Shalom.